We are Tyler and Holli Still, and we're the campus pastors of the Goose Creek campus.
Back in 2018, we decided we wanted to expand our family a little bit. We wanted our son Lyric to have a sibling to play with, but we never could imagine the hard road that it would lead us down. So we tried, and there was no success. So we just started to go to doctor's appointments and get some opinions and getting some answers. And she was like, I'm gonna put you on some pills and see what's gonna happen. Let's see the outcome and see where it leads. So they started working, and last year we got a positive pregnancy test, which unfortunately led to a miscarriage. And that was probably the most discouraging, disheartening thing that we had faced for a long time.
I think as a guy, one of the biggest struggles through it all, there's really two parts of it. One was, infertility and miscarriages and things is such a taboo, quiet thing. And I think we felt like we had to go through it alone. We felt like it was this thing where you kind of walk through it by yourself, and it's discouraging, and you want answers. You want to be able to, I'm a verbal processor and wanting to do those things, and it was just very difficult. But possibly the hardest part of it as a guy is we are fixers. And I think to dads in the room, husbands in the room, I think all of us would acknowledge that there's some ability for us just to fix situations. And this was a situation that I couldn't fix. And I think as a guy, with these stories, it's so much focused on what the wife goes through, and that is the real pain of it. But I think from my perspective, it just felt like I couldn't fix something for the first time in my life. I couldn't solve the problem that was going on. And it led me to a place of just really frustration, to the point where I remember a special moment, kind of for me, was I went on a run, kind of dealing with it with God, praying through things, and finally just hit a moment where I remember telling God, like, okay, I give up. Like, obviously, this isn't gonna work. This is never gonna happen for us. And I completely gave up hope. And I think Holli still believed, had a lot of faith. Probably prevalent in our marriage is that Holli kept believing and kept thinking it was gonna happen. But I had literally had the moment where I said, God, I give up. And I kind of come to a season where I was done. Fast forward to that night, my son, Lyric we'd sit down every single night for prayer before we go to bed, and Lyric grabbed my face in a way only he could. And that night when I asked him, what do you want to pray for? Out of the blue, no talk had been done. We hadn't told him even what we had been through. Lyric said, tonight we're praying for a baby. And I was kind of shaken. I was frustrated. And a part of me wanted to be like, no. I didn't want to acknowledge what we were going through. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want him to lack faith in God later because he had prayed for something and God didn't come through. And so I had completely given up. But Lyric, from that moment literally still to this day, has spent every single prayer at night praying for a sibling.
So fast forward to February of this year, we joined a small group, and we decided, we need more community. And there was a time in our group where we did prayer time. We just went around the table and we kind of just said our needs. And when it came to me, I said, hey, I'm not gonna go into it, but I really need healing over my body. And so each person came, around me and laid their hands on me and prayed for healing over my body. And then before you know it, the next month we find out we're pregnant. And we are due with our second child in December of this year. So it's a miracle in itself, and we're very grateful.
Sitting in fertility clinics being told that even with medicines, possible procedures and everything, 7% chance we'll ever have another child. Me giving up, but our son believing, and then that small group, just enough faith. And literally it was the next weekend that we found out. And it's this crazy miracle. And I'll be honest, my faith has been stirred like crazy because I had given up. I'm supposed to be a big person of faith, but I think pain just caused me not to want to believe. But through the journey, I think one of the biggest factors that changed the game for me was I realized in a world where men and people feel like we got to do this on our own, we got to fix this, I got to solve this problem. It brought me back to a place of really two things. One is leaning on other people is not weakness. It's a form of strength, and our small group has been amazing. This is the first group that we've ever been, we're not leading, we're just a part of a group of people who want to pour into our lives and be a part. And more than anything, I think for me, it taught me to, once again, even as a man, as a provider, as a person that wants to fix everything for her or provide everything for my son and everything, I think it taught me the importance of I still have to rely on God in faith. I have to trust that God will supply what I can't do. I have to trust that there's some things in life that we can't control, but we serve a God that's able, that can provide every single thing. And so we're honored to get to share our miracle story, our story of hope with so many other people. It's changed our lives for sure.